The prospect of a boxing match between two legends, such as Lenny McLean and Mike Tyson, is a fascinating what-if scenario. Although the two never fought, imagining a clash between McLean, the governor of unlicensed boxing, and Tyson, one of the most feared professional boxers in history, makes for an intriguing debate. Welcome back to Crime Chronicles. Stay tuned as we take a deep dive into the styles, temperament, and legacy of Tyson and McLean to determine who might have emerged victorious if the two men had met in the ring. Lenny McLean was a notorious figure in the world of unlicensed boxing and bare-knuckle fighting during the 1970s and 1980s. Born in East London in 1949, McLean was a product of a rough upbringing. He grew up in poverty and was no stranger to violence, both at home and on the streets. McLean's rise to fame came through the unlicensed fight circuit in London. His reputation as a fearsome street fighter and bare-knuckle boxer made him a legend, and he was dubbed the Governor for his dominance in that underworld. McLean's fighting style was raw, brutal, and unrefined by professional standards. He wasn't trained in the technical aspects of boxing, but relied on his immense strength, powerful punches, and ability to take punishment. His fights were often brawls, where rules were minimal, and the emphasis was on toughness rather than technique. McLean was 6'3" and weighed around 280 pounds, giving him a physical advantage over most opponents. McLean's resilience and natural aggression made him a formidable opponent in the underground fight scene. However, his lack of formal training and professional experience meant that he often relied on brute strength and intimidation rather than finesse. Lenny was a man of the streets, and his reputation as a fighter was intertwined with his tough guy persona. McLean was known for his no-nonsense attitude and his willingness to engage in a fight at any time, under any circumstances. However, McLean also had a sense of honour and loyalty. He was respected by his peers, not just for his fighting ability, but for his code of conduct. Despite his fearsome reputation, McLean had a softer side, particularly when it came to his family and friends. His ability to switch between the roles of protector and aggressor highlighted his complex personality. Next up we have Mike Tyson, one of the most famous and successful professional boxers in history. Born in Brooklyn, New York in 1966, Tyson rose from a troubled childhood to become the youngest heavyweight champion in boxing history at the age of 20. Known for his ferocious power, speed, and aggressive style, Tyson dominated the heavyweight division in the late 1980s and early 1990s, earning the nickname the baddest man on the planet. Tyson's style was a masterclass in technical boxing, developed under the tutelage of legendary trainer Cus D'Amato. Standing at 5 feet 10 inches and weighing around 220 pounds in his prime, Tyson was smaller than many of his heavyweight opponents. However, he made up for this with his speed, head movement, and devastating punching power. Tyson employed the peekaboo style, which allowed him to slip punches and counter with explosive combinations. His ability to move inside his opponent's reach and deliver knockout blows made him one of the most feared fighters of all time. Tyson's technique was built around his incredible athleticism and his ability to end fights quickly. He was a relentless pressure fighter, always looking for an opportunity to land his signature punches, such as the left hook and uppercut. Tyson's fights often ended in the early rounds, as his opponents struggled to withstand his overwhelming offense. Tyson's temperament was both his greatest asset and his biggest downfall. In his prime, Tyson was a highly focused and disciplined fighter, driven by a desire to prove himself in the ring. His aggression and intensity were unmatched, and he often intimidated his opponents before the fight even began. Tyson's early career was marked by a sense of invincibility as he tore through the heavyweight division with ease. However, Tyson's temperament could also be volatile, and as his fame and fortune grew, so did his personal demons. Tyson struggled with anger, insecurity, and a lack of control, which ultimately led to his downfall both inside and outside the ring. His later career was marred by controversies, legal issues, and a decline in his boxing skills. Despite this, Tyson's legacy as one of the greatest heavyweights in history remains intact. If Lenny McLean and Mike Tyson had ever faced each other in a boxing match, the contrast in their styles would have been stark. McLean's unrefined brawling approach would have clashed with Tyson's polished and highly technical boxing style. McLean relied on his strength and toughness, while Tyson brought a combination of speed, power, and technique that was unmatched in his prime. In a bare-knuckle fight, McLean might have had more of a chance to use his raw power to his advantage. His experience in street fighting and unlicensed bouts meant that he was accustomed to fighting in conditions where rules were flexible and survival was the priority. McLean's ability to absorb punishment and keep coming forward could have posed problems for Tyson, especially if the fight turned into a brawl. However, in a regulated boxing match, Tyson's superior technique and speed would likely have given him the upper hand. Tyson's ability to slip punches, close the distance, and deliver knockout blows with precision would have been a significant challenge for McLean. While McLean was undoubtedly tough, Tyson's explosive power and skill set would have made it difficult for McLean to land clean shots. Both McLean and Tyson were known for their intimidating presence and fierce temperaments. McLean's reputation as a hard man from the streets would have made him a formidable psychological opponent, but Tyson's ability to strike fear into the hearts of even the most seasoned professionals was on another level. Tyson's aura of invincibility in his prime was a weapon in itself, as many of his opponents were beaten mentally before they even stepped into the ring. McLean's toughness and street smarts might have allowed him to withstand some of Tyson's intimidation tactics, but Tyson's psychological warfare, combined with his boxing ability, would have been a difficult combination to overcome. Tyson had a knack for getting inside his opponents' heads, and once he smelled fear, he pounced with relentless aggression. So who was the better fighter? Ultimately, when comparing Lenny McLean and Mike Tyson, it's clear that Tyson was the superior fighter in terms of technical ability, athleticism, and accomplishments. Tyson's success at the highest level of professional boxing, where he faced and defeated world-class opponents, sets him apart from McLean, who made his name in the underground fight scene. Tyson's career achievements, including becoming the youngest heavyweight champion and his dominance of the division during his prime, are unparalleled. McLean, while a legend in his own right, never competed at the professional level in the same way. His reputation as a tough man and a feared street fighter is well deserved, but Tyson's legacy in the world of boxing is on a different scale. If Lenny McLean and Mike Tyson had ever fought, the outcome would likely have favoured Tyson, especially in a professional boxing match. Tyson's combination of speed, power, and technical skill would have given him a significant edge over McLean's brawling style. While McLean's toughness and resilience might have allowed him to last longer than some of Tyson's opponents, it's hard to imagine a scenario where McLean could overcome Tyson's ferocity and precision in the ring. In a matchup against Mike Tyson, one of the greatest heavyweight champions in boxing history, Tyson's superior skills and accomplishments make him the clear winner in this hypothetical showdown. Thank you for joining us today on Crime Chronicles. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the channel with your friends.